6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m., it's Monday, September 30th, 2019, 31 degrees outside. 31 degrees outside at the end of September. I don't know, Shane. I don't know what's going on there, man.
Well, you mean the national news with all the snow you got,
I
didn't you?
know,
Didn't you?
3 feet of snow up in the upper elevations up around Glacier in the upper part of the state. I mean, that's pretty amazing, too, to go by. Wow, man.
Yeah, coming home from the loops and going over the pass, there's like a foot of snow, and it was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Not good. Not a fun time. Hey, we had a nice mild summer. Got plenty of rain. No real forest fires and stuff going on. Now we got snow, so I think we bit the bullet, and all the money that was saved for fighting fires, they can now blow on vote getting stuff.
Well, I gotta say, you're quite the weatherman, Eagle Man. You called a cold winter, and it's already started.
It's
the
already
snowpack has arrived.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It seems. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of weather, let's talk about a little bit of it. We got a 20% chance of snow after 1 o'clock and patchy fog before noon, so you may be getting some of that on your commute in this morning. As the sun comes up, it may cause some fog out there. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, high near 35 today. 35 is going to be the high. We're 31 right now. Jeez. 4 more degrees is going to make a big difference, let me tell you. And tonight, all kinds of things are going to happen tonight. We got a slight chance of rain and snow before 8 o'clock, and then a chance of snow overnight between 8 p.m. and 1 a.m. Areas of fog after 1 o'clock, so if you're running around doing deliveries or things in the middle of the night, watch out for patches of fog here and there. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly cloudy with a low around 22, and the winds are pretty mild, 5 to 7 miles an hour, and the chance of precip for the day is 20%. Then on Tuesday, again, we got a slight chance of snow after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, mixing with rain after 4 o'clock, so that should be great for your commute home. And areas of fog again, and otherwise it's going to be partly sunny with a high near 37. Chance of precip on Tuesday, 20%. Tuesday night, a slight chance of rain and snow before 10 p.m., and then a slight chance of snow between 10 and 1, partly cloudy with a low around 22, and 20% chance of precip again on Tuesday night. Wednesday during the day, mostly sunny with a high near 49. That'll be a nice change. Calm winds. Wednesday night, mostly clear, low around 28. And then on Thursday, same story, sunny with a high near 57. And then on Thursday night, a slight chance of rain after 1 o'clock, mixing with snow after 4 a.m. So you might get a little snow on Thursday for your commute. On Friday, partly cloudy with a low around 33. And then on Friday, a chance of rain and snow before 1 o'clock. Then a chance of rain, mostly sunny with a high near 53. Friday night, a chance of rain before 1 a.m. rather. Then a chance of rain or snow between 1 and 4 a.m. and then snow after 4 a.m. So that's your weekly forecast there, Shane.
There you are, buddy. It's all ready to go. Locked and loaded, as your president would say.
Looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see if I can somehow find our day in history. Not sure where that is. Well, I know where it is. Yeah, here it is. It's over here.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
I got it. I got this day in history. You leave for a couple of days, you forget how to do this whole job completely. I don't know. 1788, the Pennsylvania legislature, they elected the first 2 members of the U.S. Senate, William McClay of Harrisburg and Robert Morris of Philadelphia.
That's right. Your Constitution was approved by the Constitutional Convention September 17th, 1787. And so a year later, Pennsylvania was one of the first General Assemblies to elect their senators. As we know, it was done by the State House of Representatives and the Senate of the state. And William McClay he was in the first class, staggered terms because they're 6-year terms. And under the Constitution, they would be staggered. So every 2 years, a third of the Senate would be elected. So he was in the class 1 and had a staggered term. While Federalist and founding father Robert Morris was elected to the full 6-year term of the class 3 seat. So there you go. That's what started this all off. And a third of the Senate is elected every 2 years.
All right. 1791, Mozart's opera, The Magic Flute, opened in Vienna, Austria.
Tremendous piece of work and amazing guy. Regrettably, it opened in Vienna, and then 2 months later, the composer died a premature death. But what a great composer, and 620 pieces of music that he composed and created in his lifetime. Vast amount of work. Consider it's done by ink and feather.
Right, yeah. That it was. Well, on this date, 1927, Babe Ruth of the New York Yankees hit his 60th home run of the season to break his own major league record, and that's held for quite a few years, 60 years.
Yep. The Bambino, or the Sultan of SWAT. Yep. And boy, he did 22 seasons. What a guy! Yeah, everybody knows Babe Ruth. I mean, he's an icon, right?
Yep. Yeah, the house that Ruth built,
in New York
Yankee
City.
Stadium, no longer there though. They tore it down and moved somewhere else. So moved down by the river.
Yes. Still packed to this day, right?
Oh yeah. Well, they're in the playoffs, so we'll see where they go. They got a pretty good record this year, so they may add to their coffers. Well, in 1946, an international military tribunal in Nuremberg, Germany, found 22 top Nazi leaders guilty of war crimes.
Yeah, and the remarkable thing, this was really what was the first, trials held for war criminals, and it was an amazing experience, both internationally and globally, to see how a trial system works, because it was predicated on the U.S. Format, obviously, because they ran the trials.
Mm-hmm.
But there was some pretty remarkable things that occurred, denials and acceptance, but mostly the people that they had that testified was probably the most difficult part to review. There's a movie made of it, of course, and also there's all the information that you can read about it. I've read some of it, but it gets pretty intense to read. It's not a good read. It's very sad.
Yeah, these folks were not nice people, obviously, and it was one of those cascading things where, you start out with a few atrocities and then it gets just easier and easier and easier, and you don't value life at all.
Well, that's right, and that's where they came up with the numbers. As we know, the 6 million Jews that were killed, but also the 2 million handicapped and gays and gypsies and people that they didn't want. All those liberal thought people.
Yeah, and then all the medical experiments and things, just horrific. It's hard to believe human beings could act that way to other human beings, but I guess we're all animals at heart, so I don't know.
It would appear so, educated.
It's pretty scary, so. Well, in 1955, actor James Dean was killed in a 2-car collision near Cholome, California at the age of 24. He didn't make the 27 club.
No.
24, no, rebel without a cause and all of that. Yeah. Dennis Hopper took his place in Giant for the distance scenes.
That's right.
Yeah. Little trivia for you there. Yeah. Let's see. Text lines open early. 478-8298. I was only following orders. That was the defense at Nuremberg, wasn't it? I was just doing what they told me to do. I couldn't refuse the order. So that was the. It didn't work then. It doesn't work now for any of these people.
Yeah, under the Nazis, it was follow the order or lead bullet, right?
That was it.
Yeah, it wasn't gold or lead. It was just follow the order or lead bullet.
That's right. Follow the lead or get the lead.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Very
you
good,
don't
Eagle
you,
Fed.
you
That
don't
was
want the
great.
gold, you get the lead. Yeah, there you are.
Follow
1962, black student James Meredith succeeded on his fourth try in registering for classes at the University of Mississippi. They finally let James Meredith in. Went on to become head of the NAACP, I believe, didn't he?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a staunch Republican, if I remember.
he indeed was. He
Mm-hmm.
believed that the individual had the responsibility, and that you had to care for yourself. You shouldn't expect someone else to care for you.
Yeah. All right, we need to take a break here. We got to. I got to take care of the farmers and ranchers because I haven't taken care of them for the last 3 days. So I got to. I'm sure they're wondering what the heck is going on. So we got to get some agriculture stuff in here. So we'll do that right now. So Tom and Shane are back, and we're back in the saddle again, and we are ready to rock and roll here if I can find the button. So we'll be right back. Here's your news in ag. 22 minutes before the bottom of the hour. It's Monday, September 30th, 2019, 31 cold, below freezing degrees outside. Shane Matabin, half man, half amazing on the line with me. Tom Eagle, your morning mayor. And this is the return of the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. We're glad to be back here with you once again. And we're talking about this day in history. 1962, the National Farm Workers Association, founded by Cesar Chavez and a forerunner of the United Farm Workers, held its first meeting in Fresno, California. The National Farm Workers Association, Shane.
Yeah, 1962, it started out as the United Farm Workers of America, or more commonly known as United Farm Workers. It's, as you know, a labor union. It was organized by the merger of two workers' rights organizations, the Agricultural Workers Organization Committee, led by organizer Larry Lilitong, who was Filipino, and the National Farm Workers Association, organized by Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta. Interestingly enough, the first strike was in 1965 against, it was organized by the two groups. They initiated a grape strike, and it was principally against Gallo wineries, because they would take all grapes of any nature and anything left over from other wineries and make inexpensive wine, which everybody knew. So anyway, the most important thing about it was the success with over 100,000 workers. On August 22nd, 1966, they became part of and were accepted into the AFL-CIO in 1972. And changed their name to the United Farm Workers Union. Sadly enough, today there are only 10,200 members now. It's sort of fallen away.
Is that because of automation, do you think?
I think it's a combination of automation plus, workmen's compensation and other government agencies that have protected farm workers.
Yeah,
government.
They're getting higher pay than they're not out there in the fields toiling for a couple bucks an hour anymore.
As we've talked before, the principal organization of unions in the past in your country was a failure of your governments, state, local, federal, to do anything to protect the worker.
Yeah.
But once the government got involved and started organizing and stuff and passing laws to protect workers, the unions fell away.
Yeah. All right. Well, in 1966, on this date, the Republic of Botswana. Don't you love the name Botswana?
Yeah.
Botswana. Where are you from? I'm from Botswana.
And interestingly enough, it's.
Well, let me finish it. They declared.
I thought you were done with your joy of Botswana. Okay.
Well, I was pretty excited about Botswana, but we have to point out to the listeners they declared their independence from Britain. Now you can spiel on.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Eagle Man.
Well, Monday, you have to be retrained.
So Bot is the name of the largest ethnic group in Botswana, hence Bot, which stands or means land of the Tswana. So Botswana is where the name came from. Interesting country. It has, because of its GDP, 44.3 billion, the highest per capita rate in Africa, 18,500 per person, which is quite fascinating. 2.5 million people. And it's independent, and it has a government, a unitary government, because of course they have a king who's Botswanan.
Right. Yeah. All right. On this date, 1982, the situation comedy Cheers premiered on NBC. Ran for 9-10 seasons, something like that. Long time, quite a while. A couple of spinoffs, Frasier, and one or two others, I think, spinoff from there. So, quite a show. It was
a good show. It was a great situation comedy, and it elevated that with All in the Family and everything. It just became an evening course of comic relief on most of the networks, right?
That was it. So. Yeah, 1991, the military in Haiti overthrew Jean-Bertrand Astride, the county's first freely elected president.
Yeah, amazing enough, he was a Catholic priest, and and overthrew the baby doc Duvalier family, and the horrific issues that existed in that country, but nothing changed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still one of those situations where, you look at a country and you go, how can they not change? Like, what's wrong? And there's just it just seems that there's so much availability of corruption without any. Oh, here's
Mm-hmm.
one. Anyone being held accountable.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. When you're at the top, you're pretty much you hold everybody else accountable,
That's right.
not for yourself. Well, in 1992, George Brett of the Kansas City Royals reached 3,000 career hits during a game against the California Angels.
And yeah, and I think that was the year the Angels had that incredible record too, right? Where they
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
won 21 games in a row, wasn't it, or something
something
like
like that. Yeah.
huge, yeah.
Yeah, Detroit at one time, I think, won 35 of their first 40 or something like that. I forget when that was, but and I think are they the ones that have hit the most home runs again this year, or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
Can't remember. Yeah, can't
I'm
remember
not
who.
big on baseball. Sorry,
Yeah,
buddy, can't
yeah.
help you.
All right. Well, we can help you with a little 1993. A magnitude 6.4 earthquake struck southern India, killing an estimated 10,000 people, and we're at the bottom of the hour, so we gotta. We can talk about that if you want to when we come back, Shane. If you want to name the 10,000, we can do that.
It's a long list, and I can't pronounce most of them, so
I
no.
was going to say, so no. Okay, so now that was a tragedy of the time, but it was not good. All right, we'll be back. We got Montana State News, Fox News coming up. We got Brooke Foster with the weather, and boy, you're going to talk. You want to hear about Capital One Bank, and boy, we've got a little more of this day in history, and then we got to talk about Montana weather, and gosh, all kinds of things going on
Yeah,
east of us. So,
yeah.
all right, we'll be back. All right, it is 25 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Monday, September 30th, 2019, 31 degrees outside. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing, on the line with me. And Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor, in the house. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with the aforementioned Tom and Shane.
Yeah, great news, I think, over the weekend that I look, first of all, I went to the Loops, last Tuesday after the show. And they have no television, so it's just Netflix all weekend long.
All right.
And the last comment I made, I think last Tuesday was, "Gee, I hope Biden's still around." And I come back and I literally have to watch 5 hours. Thank God, uninterrupted. Video of what went on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I know.
It's like, oh my, it's unbelievable. Anyway, congratulations to Lawrence Van Dyke. The ex-Solicitor General of Montana was nominated for the Ninth Circuit Court. Mm-hmm. How cool is that?
Yeah, we have mixed feelings about that.
Well, I know, but of all the things I could cut through and talk about it,
well, that's true.
I don't know where to go with the rest of his time. I'm truly confused.
Well, anyway. in one way, and we'll talk about national stuff at the top of the hour here, but I think we were blessed to be off those 3 days while all this filtered itself out, because we would have been commenting every day, and it changed so quickly each day that now we've got a much clearer perspective, I think, than we would have had on Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday when we weren't here. But we'll cover that coming up in the 7:00 hour. But right now, in 2004, American company pulled Vioxx, its heavily promoted arthritis drug, from the market after a study found it doubled the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Why would you take it off? I mean, all of these medications you see on TV, the symptoms or the side effects are way worse than
the symptoms.
Let's see. I'm going to feel good, except I'm going to have heart palpitations. I'm going to have diarrhea. I'm going to have muscle soreness. I'm going to have an upset stomach. I'm going to get headaches, and my hair is going to fall out. But I'm going to feel great.
Yeah, exactly.
other than those things.
Amazing though enough, George Merck, who founded Merck in 1668. 1668.
Wow.
Yeah, Merck became a subsidiary of his company in 1891, 128 years ago, but it's been around for almost 350 years. Anyway.
What did he have, a mortar and pestle in some shack in Plymouth Rock or where?
1668.
I mean, that's 40 years after the Pilgrims landed. Come on.
Yeah, I kept thinking, is that 1968 when it was reorganized? I kept looking at it. Anyway, Killingsworth, New Jersey is its worldwide headquarters, and as you said, some pretty remarkable drugs. Our operating income, are you ready for this? Revenue, $42.294 billion.
Wow.
69,000 employees, operating income, $8.2 billion. And just to give you an idea, last year they spent $32 billion on marketing.
Wow. Yeah.
Less than $7 billion on research. Anyway, going on, assets of $82 billion. So it's one of these major pharmaceutical companies, which, by the way, gave up 7 years ago making antibiotics. No more antibiotics now made in the United States. They all come from China.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like fun to me.
Yeah.
2005 cartoons featuring the Prophet Muhammad were published in a Danish newspaper, offending many Muslims worldwide. And we kind of remember that, I think, Shane.
Yeah, well, remember they had that competition in Texas, and those two guys drove for 6 hours to get there to run in and try and shoot it up, and were followed by none other than FBI agents who waited for them to get out of the car before they shot them. Remember they shot two security guards that they'd hired to protect that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this was really scary. Another almost botched FBI job.
Yeah. Well, rule of thumb: always wait for them to get out of the car before you shoot them. That's That's a
Yeah, right. Well,
that's a given. That's a sort of given. You don't.
yeah,
Well, unless you're Bonnie and Clyde, and then it's
yeah,
okay to blast them in the car. But yeah, you got to wait for. Yeah, wait till they get out, and
with
then
all their AK-47s.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the body armor and everything else.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do all that before you start blasting.
And and after they've of course shot somebody, you got to, whatever.
That's
Okay.
for sure. All right. We got to take a quick break, and you're going to hear about some timeshares, but it's only one. But it's only 1 minute, so we'll be back. We'll be back right after some timeshare talk here on AM 1450 KMMS in the backwaters of Bozeman, Montana, where I don't know if we've even got a timeshare in town or not. But anyway, here you go. $18 before the top of the hour. It's Monday, September 30th, 2019, 31 degrees outside. Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing on the line. And Tom Eagle, your morning mayor. This is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And Shane, on this day in history, 2007, Green Bay Packers' Brett Favre completed his 421st career touchdown pass, breaking Dan Marino's NFL record. Dan, of course,
Amazing.
with the Miami Dolphins and the Killer Bees, and
That's right.
all back in the day. So good for Brett. Yeah. And birthdays on this date. About the only one that is really notable. Truman Capote, author of In Cold Blood and other famous books. Was born on this date in 1924, died in 1984, so I'm guessing by advanced calculus he was 60.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly.
Well, 59 because he was born in September, died in August, so he was 59 and a month, whatever. So, yeah, as far as good names go, Zacharias Frankel. There you go. A Bohemian rabbi. Was born on this date in 1875. Who cares? And there's nobody else really. Maybe Thomas Lamont. He was a famous banker and financier, born on this date in 1870. And Hans Geiger, born on this date in 1930, invented some kind of counter. I don't know what it was. Shane, you have any idea what Geiger invented that would count stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's got to be bad. Whatever it was.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Bad.
Whatever it was, got to be hard on your body. So, and Kenny Baker, American movie and radio singer and actor. Never heard of Kenny Baker. I don't know.
Never. No, sorry. Like you said, if you're not that famous,
if I haven't heard of you, you're not famous.
Not
so
famous.
just go away. Well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, as I predicted, the Cats beat Northern Arizona, beat them like common pygmies on last Saturday.
They did.
Yeah. And after going down 21-0 at the half or first quarter or whatever, came back with 28 unanswered points and won. So welcome back, Cats. And that was important because it's the first conference game of the year. So that was certainly a huge deal for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess the big news is our weather, Shane, in Montana. Strong winds and heavy snow caused power outages and temporary road closures in northwestern Montana as a wintry storm threatened to drop several feet of snow in some areas of the northern Rocky Mountains. And the National Weather Service in Great Falls reported 16 inches of snow had fallen near Marius Pass, just south of Glacier National Park, by early Saturday. And the area is forecast to see a total of up to 4 feet by the time the storm winds down and Sunday night. So, they got national emergencies there, or state emergencies, I guess I should say. It's not a national emergency, but
not a national one.
Yeah, who cares? It's Montana.
Yeah,
Nobody in Washington cares about Montana. So, winds on Saturday knocked down trees and damaged power lines, caused scattered outages in northwestern Montana and along the Rocky Mountain front. And up to 30 large trees were down on the east side of Flathead Lake, I should say. And emergency travel only was recommended in some areas along the eastern edge of the Rocky Mountain front, and treacherous travel was reported around the region, including over Rogers Pass on Montana Highway 200 northwest and Helena, or west of Helena, I should say. And following the storm, temperatures are expected to drop into the teens and 20s, which they, of course, did. And right now we're currently at 31 degrees outside, just kind of steadily hanging in there. But I guess the only good news out of this, Shane, is our unseasonably wet fall and early snowfalls have kept fires at bay, and we haven't had anything of a major consequence. Had a couple small fires at Yellowstone, but other than that, I don't think there's. Have you had a lot in Vancouver? Has there been a lot of fires?
No, nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say we haven't. Whatever has come up from either lightning or something like that has been contained pretty quickly. So maybe our forest can get a leg up.
Yeah, exactly.
On this from past some of our past things going on here, or past fires that have been pretty dramatic. Boy, a couple of years ago, you couldn't even. I mean, it was like fog. Like 600 or 700 fires going up in Vancouver or something like that.
665 fires, and you had over 400.
Yeah, I mean they're
nobody
everywhere.
In the environmental world,
Yeah.
Climate change and the whole thing, even talked about it. Like, it's just crazy. It really is.
Well, coming up at 7, I'll tell you about my climate change experience. So.
Oh, good.
You want to hear that. So we'll talk about that coming up at 7 o'clock. So, but the weather being gone, as you pointed out, and I knew we were going to get snow. We talked about snow on the forecast.
Oh, yeah.
The week going on there.
That was pretty early. I mean,
for
September 30th.
Yeah. I was going to say we've always had snow by Thanksgiving. I mean, that's kind of a given.
That's a given.
I don't think I've ever spent in my 26 years here, I don't think I've ever had a Thanksgiving without some snow on the ground. And it's been cold on some Halloweens. Some Halloweens have been pretty brisk. But usually we get a little longer spring or a little longer fall in there where it doesn't go from overnights of 50 to 27 or 23 or 22 or whatever it was.
I don't think you're going to be able to call this an Indian winter. You'd be in a teepee with a fire and blankets. Okay.
It's not going to be like that. So. When I came in this morning, we didn't have internet, so I'm using my smartphone as a hotspot for the internet, so we can at least find the stuff we need to do the show on. So, so we don't have a poll question of the day. So maybe folks on the text line and the app chat can send us some ideas for a poll question that we can put up either later today or put it up tomorrow. So,
or you could suggest a poll question that people can call and answer to.
They could call and answer to. Well, one I was thinking about, do you think we're going to have a recession in the next 18 months? That was a big deal before we were off, Shane. Monday, the big thing was climate change and the recession
the UN meetings last week.
Yeah, the UN meetings, and then the recession kind of went a little bit by the wayside. So I'm wondering if we're going to have a recession or not.
No, because now it's just Ukraine. It's Russia. Not Ukraine.
Well, yeah,
Ukraine.
we're back to Yeah, we're going to have another. We're going to have to bring Mueller out of mothballs and
dust him off,
dust him off, and set him up here again with a bunch of Democrats to figure out.
No, because now he's investigating Democrats. He should get a whole bunch of Republican lawyers.
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah, we need a bunch of Republican lawyers to do that. So
no, I don't think they'll dust him off a second time. No, I don't know.
All right. Well, I know you can't wait to hear from ZipRecruiter, and that'll be our only ad in this segment. So we will be right back following this important word from ZipRecruiter. Seven minutes for the top of the hour. Coming up at the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with Deanna Campbell. They are doing a movie, A Night in Nepal, is going to be at Museum of the Rockies, and they're going to have traditional Nepal food there, and they're going to show a movie in the shadow of Mount Everest, and they're going to have a guest appearance by Conrad Anker. And it's a fundraiser for their goal is to raise $10,000 for a fourth rural birthing center in Nepal. And we're going to be talking with her briefly about that and how you can get involved. And if you want to know things about Nepal, we'll be chatting about that with Diana coming up in just a very few minutes. So the other thing we should touch on, Shane, also is that in Livingston, the entire board over there went away. The Chamber of Commerce board just kind of all resigned, and so they've got three new folks there that are all 8 Livingston area Chamber of Commerce members selected or resigned. So they got 3 new board members Thursday afternoon. Amy Beck, the Mint owner, Richard Lowe, and Jamie Rebson, a Livingston attorney, as well as the personal attorney, were selected along with former chamber president and current chairman Max Bassett will be there. So in total, 6 chamber members are applied for the open seats, including the 3 selected. And so we'll see how that plays out as time goes on. We can get those those things taken care of. So, a Canadian. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say props out to the Mint, best U.S. steakhouse of all time.
The what?
The Mint, isn't that a steakhouse?
The Mint?
Yeah. Isn't it a restaurant?
It's a restaurant in Belgrade, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess they got one in Livingston too. So
yeah.
All right. And also, Canadians are, I don't know, I can't keep them on the other side of the border.
Try to, but
What's
can't.
going on? A Canadian company resumes gold drilling in South Dakota. What's up with that?
Yeah, gold.
A Canadian company said it has secured the money and land holdings it needs to resume drilling for gold in what is called a vastly underexplored area in South Dakota. Mineral Mountain Resources suspended exploratory drilling in the Black Hills last year, and the Vancouver-based company, of course, it's based in Vancouver, notified the State Department of Environment and Natural Resources on Monday that it can restart drilling this week. Last year, the company drilled 9 holes to obtain core samples east of Rockford, and then, of course, they made that into a golf course since the holes were already there. And last year...
Very good, Eagle. That's very good.
The holes averaged about 1,000 feet, so it's going to be hard to get your ball out of there. But
it's a deep reach.
Yeah, it'll be okay there. Then the state approved 111 more holes. Well, Trump needs to know about this. And 10 drilling sites on private land in the standby mine area. So they're going to find out if there's anything happening there with gold and things like that. So, and in other news, Montana's top federal prosecutor says his office has had nearly 40% increase in illegal drug distribution cases over the last 2 years, nearly all of which involve methamphetamine. So that's been a epidemic here with us, unfortunately, and we, boy, I don't know. Anyway, U.S. Attorney Kurt Almy spoke Wednesday during the governor's conference on aging about how public agencies are trying to combat the state's meth problems, and he attributes the decade resurgence in meth use and crimes in 2 Mexican drug cartels producing more of the drug. He says criminal offenses connected to meth across the state rose 313% between 2012 and 2016, Shane. Wow. So getting
it's
right
just
up
so
there.
sick because, when you look at the history of illegal drugs, how it's gone from one phase of a drug to another because of the cost dropping with the innovation of a newer drug to be able to sell because people can't afford the
higher price.
It's you went from heroin or pot to heroin to cocaine to crack.
True.
And oh my gosh, and and here we are, OxyContin. I mean, it's just
it goes on and
so
on and on. Yeah,
it does.
Well, also too, meth-related emergency room visits rose 220% between 2011 and 2015, and so they're hoping to get that tide stemmed. A few years ago, Shane, we had some excellent ads here, some visual ads about meth that I thought were very effective. And I think it was a guy in California put up the money for them, but they stopped doing them after a while. I don't know that, we played them here, but I don't know if the youth of America is listening to the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. I'm not sure that's the cool. Not sure that's where all the cool kids are. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Deanna Campbell, and we're going to Nepal. So stay tuned for that. So we'll be back right after the news at the bottom of the hour, or top of the hour, rather, and all kinds of other things. Burke Foster Weather, Montana State News, and Fox News. So stay tuned. A lot more to come this morning. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. It is 6 minutes after the hour, 31 degrees outside. Joining us in studio, Deanna Campbell is here, and she is the founder and executive director of Antha Karana. Am I getting that right?
Antha Karana.
Antha Karana. Move that just a little closer to you. There you go. Yeah. All right. Tell us a little bit about Deanna Campbell before we get started, and then we'll find out why you're here. And
Well, thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
Very little about me. I am retired from a very long career in marketing and other activities in the business community. And in 2004, I founded Antha Karana International. And we built schools in the very upper regions of the Himalayas in Nepal, and had a very successful model that drew attention to some other organizations that were working in the same area. And they eventually took over those schools, and I had a nice exit from that charity, which I worked actually for about 7 years. And then I got a call from another organization, Chaya. And Chaya is Tibetan for let's do it. And this was an organization founded by William Keller here in Bozeman. And I became interested in their projects. And so I folded what was remaining of Antha Karana into Chaya and became very enthusiastic about their projects, now our projects.
yeah.
So I've been working in Nepal for about 12 years and have really learned a lot about the needs of the people and how much we can do to assist a third world country, and also a lot about how to do it best. So I'm here to tell you more about it.
Okay, well, good. You've got an event coming up. It's going to be Thursday, October 3rd, and it's going to be at the Hager Auditorium at the Museum of the Rockies. And 6:30, you're going to have traditional food of Nepal, which is the, I'm going to screw this up probably, hot dal bhat.
Dal bhat, yes.
And what is that?
Dal bhat is a very traditional Nepali food. It's basically rice with lentils and then sort of a pickly sauce that you can add to it.
Okay, I'm assuming these are things that are probably grown locally. That's why the diet is that type of thing.
Correct.
That it grows in that area well, and they can feed themselves with what they grow themselves.
Exactly.
All right, sounds good. And it'll be $10. It's a fundraiser. Your goal is to raise $10,000 for the fourth rural birthing center in. Give me the name. The
Ratahat.
Ratahat. Okay. Why can't they just be Smith? I don't know. And the terminology is this is an untouchables community. What does that mean? What does it mean? It's an untouchables community.
Well, as you may know, India, Nepal, that region, the Hindu areas have had a caste system
Right.
in their societies and civilizations. It's actually illegal officially.
I would say they're a democracy, are they not?
Yes,
Yeah.
Nepal is a democracy, and the caste system has been outlawed.
Yeah.
But it is still
It's entrenched in the culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the untouchables, or Dalits, is another term for that segment of society, basically receive no support from the government. They are pretty much marginalized at every level. And they came to us for help in building a birthing center. And the need is very great for birthing centers in Nepal.
I was going to say, what is the mortality rate?
About
Nepal?
every 4 hours, a woman in Nepal dies of some pregnancy-related complication.
Wow.
And most women in rural areas deliver at home in unsanitary conditions.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of
infection
and mortality, and they deliver without skilled birth assistance. So fact of the matter is 63% of the women in rural areas receive no pre or post natal care. And we have learned that just with basic care, the mortality rate can be cut down
Would
considerably.
increase, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I would have you on. I think a lot of our listeners are pro-life and certainly would encourage, the world population.
Right.
We're a little behind in our own. We're supposed to have like 2.5 kids per family, and we're not doing that. So if this isn't corrected, these folks could theoretically just disappear off the planet.
That's
without this help.
That's always a possibility.
Yeah, yeah. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Deanna Campbell. She is the founder and executive director of Anna Karana. I'm getting it in a minute. International. And we're talking about, we have a fundraiser coming up on October 3rd, 2019, obviously, at 6:30 at the Hager Auditorium and Museum in the Rockies. And we're going to have traditional food there. And $10 for students, $20 for the general admission. And we're going to show some films there, too. One is In the Shadow of Mount Everest, and you're also going to have a guest appearance by Conrad Anker. Can you tell us about Conrad Anker a little bit, why he would be somebody that we definitely want to hear from?
Well, as you know, Conrad Anker is a world-class climber and a very popular community member here in Bozeman. And he also has work in Nepal that he's working with, educating Sherpas. And he is very taken by the work that Chaya, which Anta Karana has folded into Chaya, the work that Chaya is doing all over Nepal. We have many, many projects, 13 schools. This is our 4th birthing center. And he's very aware of the need and can communicate that very effectively. So he'll be there to speak a little bit about his experience in Nepal and the work that is very apparently needed in third world countries. And I'm sure that he'll be happy to talk with on other topics before and after the event.
Okay, good.
So,
tell us a little bit about the film, In the Shadow of Mount Everest. What will we see in that film?
this is a beautiful film. It was done by a local couple, Dale and Elaine Smith. Dale is a Kodak executive, retired Kodak executive, and he made this film some time ago. And some of the footage is actually archival because he was able to capture buildings that were since destroyed by the earthquake, or at least badly damaged. The film really shows the culture and the beauty of Nepal. And of course, things in Nepal haven't changed for hundreds of years.
Right.
So the film is very the same in the rural areas that he filmed about 10 years ago.
Is it mostly rural, mostly farm agricultural land? Is there mining or anything like that there? Or
there's very little mining in Nepal.
Yeah.
And the land is very inhospitable in many ways. You know, I used to talk to schools, and I would tell the kids that Nepal is a land that's built at a 45-degree angle because when you're on the border with India, you're basically at sea level. But when you're on the northern border in the Himalayas, you're at
I was going to say
14, 15.
You're in the mountains, like we are here, but much higher.
Right. And so the amount of farmland is very limited, and people have been engaged in subsistence farming for generations upon generations.
Yeah.
And also Nepal depends very heavily on their tourist industry.
Yeah. There's going to be a couple other films, I think, on volunteers.
Right.
We have some volunteers from Bozeman. How many people from Bozeman do that? I assume you can do volunteer work here locally, and then you can also go to Nepal, either one,
Correct.
or both, if
Correct.
you so desire.
And the one film was created by a university student who spent about 3 months, I think, in the area and filmed his experience. Honestly, I haven't seen his trailer yet, but
Sure.
it's just a short film that he put together about the work that he did.
Yeah.
And then there's another very short film, a few minutes long, done by Nepal Chaya. And I'd like to just talk a little bit about the
Sure.
structure of Chaya,
Sure.
because this is one of the things that really attracted me to throw my enthusiasm behind this organization. When I was working with Anta Karana, it was me and a few individuals here, and
Right.
then a few individuals from the villages in Nepal. And it was really hard work. And it's very difficult to engage a lot of people in a work that is so specific to a culture and an area. So when I was introduced to Chaya, I learned that they were a network. There are very similar organizations, or it's the same organization. Chaya Nepal is made up of Nepalese. They work right with the government and the local villages so that we have a very firm foot on the ground in Nepal. Then there is an organization in Austria, and the Austrian organization actually was the first. And then other people, as they learned the work that Chaya was doing, developed sister organizations, Bill Keller being that individual here in Bozeman, who founded then Chaya USA. So we all work together. The total budget for Chaya is about $250,000 a year to maintain the schools that we've built, 13 schools, and rebuild schools that we didn't build but were
Right.
destroyed in the
Earthquake. Yeah.
earthquake. So the idea that Chaya has a lot of oomph behind it is really appealing to me, and is assurance that our projects get completed and sustained.
Okay. I want to thank you for coming in. Thanks so much for letting us know about this. Once again, the fundraiser, we're trying to raise $10,000 for a fourth rural birthing center there. So it's money that goes to a good cause. We want to keep infant mortality high around the world, and if we can do that, certainly that's certainly a good cause. And I think $20 is certainly a affordable price to go in and be entertained, see the film, hear from Conrad Ranker. And again, we're going to be at Hager Auditorium, Museum of the Rockies. This is going to be Wednesday night, October 3rd.
Thursday night.
Or Thursday night, I'm sorry, Thursday night, October 3rd. 2019, 6:30. We'll feed you. We'll have traditional food there. So if you want to figure $20 goes for food, then that's fine.
Exactly.
They don't care.
For an evening out in Bozeman.
That's right. For an evening out, they're going to show a film in the shadow of Mount Everest, and then there'll also be a couple other short films on the volunteers and some other information about Nepal. So I want to thank you for coming in, and thank you for lending your expertise to such a worthy cause. And we wish you great success, and we hope a lot of people from a lot of our listeners will show up and at least get the information and see if it's something that they want to talk about. Tickets are available at the door, or you can get them at
www.chaya, and that's CHAYYAUSA.org.
Okay, yeah, CHAYYAUSA.org. Right. So
Yes.
Okay, yeah, but tickets will be at the door, or you can get them online, either one. And we appreciate very much you coming in, and thanks for your time.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Tom.
Glad to have you. All right, we'll be back right after this. All right, welcome back, everyone. It is 22 minutes after the hour. It's Monday, September 30th, 2019, 30 degrees outside. Have you ever been to Nepal, Shane? You've been everywhere else in the world.
No, close, but not that close.
I know you've probably been to the Himalayas.
So, a little context: Kathmandu is the capital.
Yeah.
It's 82% Hindu, which is why they are, they're vegans.
Mm-hmm.
It's a federal parliamentary republic, and interestingly enough, it's 56,000 square miles. Not much, 93rd as far as size in the world.
Yeah.
29 million people. Sad thing though is that the GDP in 2016 was 84 billion. Per capita was 2,842, but last year is 27 billion. Only 900. So they've had a serious problem because of the earthquake and collapse of tourism there, and it's principally people climbing the Himalayas or visiting the Himalayas that has driven this, because it's such a remarkable place on the planet. But it's a wonderful thing they're doing. That's really cool when you find people like that.
I thought so. That's why we wanted to have him in. Jacobus suggested it. I guess Deanna contacted Jacobus and was talking to him about it. And again, it's movie night in Nepal. It's going to be at the Hager Auditorium, Museum of the Rockies, Thursday night, October 3rd, 2019. They're going to feed you at 6:30 with traditional food from Nepal, which didn't sound like it's going to be overly spicy or, it's not goat's eyes or, anything unusual. It'll be palatable food, I'm sure. And then at 7 o'clock, they're going to present the movie In the Shadow of Mount Everest. And then, of course, Conrad Anker, our local climber here, will also be on hand to talk to you. And it's the Chaya USA is the event or the
event,
people,
or the name.
The name of the group, which means let's do it in Nepalese, I guess. Yeah. And tickets are available at the door. They're $20, $10 for students, and or you can get tickets online at chayyaUSA.org, and you can find out more about what they do over there as well. So a good cause, and I think it'd be great for folks to get out there and check that out. So the other thing I wanted to mention, being a Vietnam vet, in this day in history, another thing that happened, the first large-scale anti-war demonstration in the U.S. Was staged at the University of California at Berkeley, of all places.
Oh.
A conservative hotspot in America, of course, by students and faculty opposed to the war. Nevertheless, at the time, polls showed that a majority of Americans supported President Lyndon Johnson's policy on the war. That so whatever that was worth. So
it was part of the Truman Doctrine, no more communists in Asia, right? So, same thing.
Well, let's see. From our text line, 478-8298, what happened to Jacobus? Jacobus is traveling. He's going to be back in a couple of weeks, I think. So you'll be treated the best of shows from Jacobus. I'm not sure. I think he was going to be gone almost a month. Every year he heads back to Austria and sees the old family and everybody over there. So, and picks up a check, from Dad, and what I don't know. I don't know what he does over there, but anyway. Also from our text line, thanks for last weekend's weather. Well, at least it was accurate.
It was accurate. You were right on, Eagle.
Well, hey, I mean.
You can't help but call it what it is.
That's right. Well, hey, you got to bring people up to speed. Not everybody knows they had 3 feet of snow up, and whoever knows where. So, we that was part of our this day in history was the weather. Right. Was the weather. So we got that going for us. So. All right. Well, hemp has been in the news lately too, Shane. I think it's illegal to grow hemp in Montana. I'm pretty sure it is. That
Oh, is
they
it? Okay.
they did the thing there. But anyway, three truck drivers who were originally charged with felonies for transporting industrial hemp through Idaho have been placed on unsupervised probation. The three men who were charged in two separate cases all had the felony charges reduced to misdemeanors earlier this year. And apparently, Idaho County Magistrate Judge Mitchell Oates, also gave the men without judgments on Thursday, which means the convictions won't show up on their criminal records. So good for them. So yeah, and industrial hemp. I don't think you want to smoke industrial hemp.
No.
It's probably not as tasty as the other stuff.
It's rope. I don't. Yeah,
I was going to say, if you want to, smoke a rope if you want to, do that. Although smoke a rope, it could be other things too. So
it might be good incense, but I don't think I'd want to smoke it.
Yeah. Out of frustration, who do we need to write our a strongly worded letter in regards to the absolute idiocy that the road construction going on? Well, Jeff Krause will be in tomorrow. You can certainly talk to him about it, and the commissioners will be in on Friday, so you can talk to them about anything in the county. So you can just tune in and talk to them directly and tell them, what the heck are you guys doing out there?
Exactly.
Can't swing a cat without hitting a pothole or a detour sign,
having to share the same side of an interstate highway. I brought this up when I took my road trip down to Montana and back. So there you go.
All right, we got to go. We'll be right back, and we'll tell you about what we were doing when we were off right after this. 25 minutes for the top of the hour, Monday, September 30th, 2019, 30 degrees outside. It's getting colder, not warmer, Shane. We're looking for a high of 35. Temperature's going in the wrong direction. I don't know what's up with that, but let's see. From our text line, Shane, have you tried the plant burger that's available at McDonald's in Canada? Have you tried the Impossible Burger, Shane?
No, we have it at the A&W here, and no, I have no interest.
Yeah. Okay. You
No.
you want the dead cow, huh?
Yeah, I like that rare beef. Yeah.
All right. I don't know if I haven't made up my mind yet whether I want to try that or not. They got the Impossible Burger at Burger King, and Wendy's is going to do one. McDonald's is going to do one. I don't know. These guys are, I don't know, kind of freaking out. But anyway, Shane and I took some time off, and I usually don't like to broadcast when I'm going to be out of town, particularly for 2 or 3 days, because that lets everybody knows that, the wife is there alone with our 3 vicious pit bulls, and, I don't want anybody.
And your cat.
And the cat, yeah, Simba. I don't want anybody going.
Simba the cat, yeah.
I don't want anybody, thinking that we're vulnerable out there.
No.
But anyway, I flew down to Texas to the basketball team that followed my team was inducted into the College Hall of Fame there. And my team went in a few years earlier, but anyway, it was a team following mine, so I played with some of these folks. So I went down there to support them, and we had a great time. But anyway, Wednesday morning I get to the airport, about 5 o'clock, and you get there 2 hours early and check in and all that stuff. And I go up to the Copper restaurant,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Copper, or whatever it is, Copper something restaurant there. And, so I'm sitting there getting ready to order, and the waitress comes over and says, she looks at my hat. I'm a Vietnam vet, and I got my Vietnam hat on, and she says, well, your breakfast will be free.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, so I had 4 steaks and 3 baked potatoes, and yeah.
A steak?
No, I just got the regular, the eggs and hash browns
Pancake
and whatever.
And
Yeah,
bacon, right?
that stuff. So, but anyway, I left her a $10 tip. Anyway,
I was going to say, I left her a big tip.
Yeah, I got to leave her a big tip because, she wasn't a college kid. It was an older lady waiting on me. So I figured,
Right.
this is either a part-time job or it may be her full-time job. So I thought, well, you help me out, I'll help you out. And so then when I got to, when we got ready to board the plane, they always say, well, anyone who needs assistance getting on the plane, or, people in wheelchairs or older people or whatever, and veterans. So, the line gets out of the way, and here I go. I get on the plane.
Wow, again.
And they also were able to provide me an aisle seat, upgraded me to something with a little more leg room, not first class, but
Wow.
they've got a section there at Alaska Airlines with a little nicer legroom thing, which was kind of cool. So I got to,
like the bulkhead seats. Those are nice
yeah,
seats. The bulkhead.
I got to do that. But the how airlines work, Shane. I get on a plane in Bozeman, and I'm going to Dallas. So where do I fly? Seattle, of course. So I run over to Seattle and then down to Dallas,
That's right, yeah.
And we get into Dallas, and I'm going, we're pulling into the space, and as you're going by the terminal, you see the numbers on the concrete, and just as they turn in, I see, oh, we're going into space 13. I said, this can't be good. This can't be good for me. So anyway, I get out. I learned to pack a long time ago. I don't go through the baggage deal. It's carry on. You can carry on 2 items, and I got the suitcase that fits the, of all the airlines and everything.
Yeah,
so
the overhead
I
compartment.
just stuff that baby as full as I can get it. If I don't need it, I don't have it. So, but anyway, I go out and go over to the car rental place, and I'm in the middle of Dallas. I have no clue where the hell I am, or how to get to where I'm going. So I always ask for a GPS. Give me a thing. Well,
a car with GPS, yeah.
Well, they didn't have any cars with GPS, and give me the manual one. The one you put on the dash or whatever, or stick on the seat or something. And they brought it out, and they couldn't get it calibrated or something. I don't know what the hell they were doing. So anyway, luckily I printed out from Rand McNally where we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after we take this 1-minute break, I'll tell you how badly that went.
Well, yeah, especially after all the flooding and everything down there, right?
Well, anyway, I'll go into more of that detail when I come back right after this. Seventeen minutes before the top of the hour, Monday, September 30th, 2019, 30 degrees outside. So anyway, I'm, I've got my Rand McNally things, it was 25 steps to get to wherever I'm going. So anyway, I'm asking the first mistake I made was making the directions from the airport, not the thrifty car lot. So I'm asking the guy who's checking me out of the car lot, you go up there and you show him your rental agreement and your license and all that, and they check, that you actually left with the car.
Yeah.
Whatever. So he says, well, you go down here, you make a U-turn, you go back over here and you get on this street and you go straight. So I said, okay, I think I can do that. So I get over there and Dallas, I'm going all on neighborhood streets. I'm not on freeways. I'm not on, parkways or whatever. And they've got 2-lane streets that they've made into 3 lanes. I mean, bike lanes are wider than the streets in Dallas. I mean, I've driven down wider bike lanes than these are. So thankfully I'm in an SUV that's up high. The downside the downside of it being up high was getting into it. I'm lifting my leg up above my head to get into this thing. And so anyway, but finally found my way to where I was going. It only took me about 2.5 hours to get out of Dallas.
Wow.
Wow. Because I had to double back because one time I'm going the wrong way on the right street. So I finally figured that out because I'm getting into more residential and whatever. So I turn around and go back and, the road starts to look a little friendlier and a little wider and all that. So, and then of course, when I get to Kilgore, where I'm going, Kilgore, Texas, it takes me another hour to find the hotel because the Rand McNally map where the hotel is supposed to be, there's just woods, There's nothing there. And I swear to God, I stop and ask three people where this place is. And this one lady looked it up on her phone and said, well, you go down here, it's the McDonald's, it's off on the left. So I go down to McDonald's and off on the left, and it's not the Hampton Inn, it's the Best Western. So anyway, I'm driving around, it's starting to get dark and on whatever, and I go, okay. So I go back to this Best Western. I go in there and say, well, I've got a late arrival room guaranteed at the Hampton, but I can't find it, so I'm going to stay here. Well, she says, well, the Hampton's right down the road. You know, you go out here and, you know, take a left. And but when you get to the Exxon station, be sure and, you know, start slowing down because there's woods on the left. And it's right after the woods. So I said, oh, well, that must be where I made my error in judgment, huh? So anyway,
hidden in the woods.
So I finally find the Hampton. So for the next 3 days, I had somebody chauffeur me around, you know, that knew the town at least. So, and we ate at a Hungarian restaurant. This little town's got a Hungarian restaurant. It was really good. I was surprised. Yeah, they were written up in Montana Magazine or whatever, but it was really good. I was pleasantly surprised at that. And of course, we went to the, you know, local bars and stuff while we were there. And
let's take a beer.
Yeah, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Calling you on the air. What's up?
Well, this is the old guy.
Yeah.
Good morning, good sir.
Shane, is it raining out there?
Not this morning. That doesn't mean it won't be in the afternoon, though.
See the sunshine this morning at all?
Nope.
Okay, I just wondered.
No sunshine here either.
That's right, Tom. There sure is. It's early this year.
Yeah.
Farming, you know.
What's going on, Clint?
Well, this deal with Trump's bothering the hell out of me. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but it's really bothering me.
Well, yeah, before you start, I was away all last week, so I missed all this. So would you explain to a Canadian, excuse me, what the hell is going on? Like, this is crazy. I mean, like, I come back, Clint, yesterday, and I had to watch 6 hours of make-up news because I missed it for 3 days. And what a horror show.
It is. It is. Well, here's my take on the whole thing. When Trump asked...
Yeah?
Oh, we lost you.
When Trump asked the leader of Ukraine maybe to look at Biden, I think that's perfectly legitimate. And the reason I'm saying this is because of the money that we gave him, or we're going to give him.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, quid pro Joe. I mean, he's on videotape with a quid pro quo. Like, seriously.
Well, but is there a big difference between what Hillary went to the Russians and asked for between?
There's no difference.
Yeah.
There's no difference at all. And the American people are listening to this stuff on the news, which I'm with Trump there. A lot of it's fake news. It's just stuff like that shift. He makes up stuff, you know. But the thing is, I think that Trump had every right to ask what he did. And the reason being is because we're giving them money. And there's one other thing here that should be investigated. If Biden's son is involved in this corporation, I think Rudy Giuliani should have subpoenaed in Ukraine, whatever you can do it, and talk to all the directors of that corporation. And is that corporation on our markets, our stock markets, or is it on the European markets? And there's a lot of things there that should be looked at. But as far they've been trying to nail Trump ever since and before he even got into office. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
Well, now why is the American people standing here or sitting here and not voicing an opinion like I'm doing? Mm-hmm. Why aren't people saying that I think he had every right to ask about that because of the money that we were giving him? And $50,000 a month for a kid like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, now what's that say to you?
Boy,
There's a lot to be said here. And then
radio needs to pay better.
Well, it's so disgusting, Tom and Shane, that it's hard. I'm getting so I don't even want to look at the damn news.
Well, I appreciate that.
Boy, I'll tell you, I listen to you guys. I'm sure glad you come back on.
Well, thanks a lot. We're glad to be back on.
Well, I think you're doing a hell of a good job, and you let people talk about things that should be talked about, and try to wake people up to what the hell's going on. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or what you are, or a Republican. The truth is the truth.
That's why we're here. Just put it out there and let you guys decide.
Well, if you needed money, Tom, and I was going to loan you money, you were going to do something else, and you lied to me about it.
Well, yeah.
I think I have every damn right to know why what you're doing and why I loaned you the money, right?
Absolutely right.
That's all Trump did. And if that's impeachable, we got it's rules.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see any place in that Constitution that says other than high crimes and misdemeanors.
Yeah.
And if you look at that, it has to be treasonous. And he also said that the guy that is the guy that's telling on him, okay,
mm-hmm.
he has every right to meet his accuser.
Yeah.
He has that right. But the rules that they put on that high crimes and misdemeanors, are they constitutional? No, I don't think so. The original
Clint,
founders.
the two things that I took out of this from just like trying to figure out what was going on was, number one, Pelosi gets up and makes his speech last week. I think it was Thursday, wasn't it, Tom?
I think so,
yeah. And says we're going to impeach him, and she hasn't even seen the evidence yet.
I know,
one.
yeah.
And then number two, it turned. Yesterday, the New York Times reporting that it's a CIA operative, this the whistleblower, and they released his complaint, and he's not even firsthand. So then you find out over the weekend that the CIA changed the rule in the last 9 months, because if you're not a firsthand witness, you couldn't fill out a whistleblower report. So they changed it so you don't have to have firsthand. It could just be something you heard. I mean, the rules. I love the game. I love the game. Change the rules in the middle of the game. That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
And that's not right. You can't. You change rules by a majority, not a minority.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Here's the answer. Here's the answer why Giuliani is doing. First of all, he's his lawyer, so he's got to protect him. But the second reason is Trump can't trust anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Either.
Certainly not in the White House or within the four walls of the White House. That's for sure. I got to go, Clint. I got to do a commercial here. So
maybe somebody else can throw their 2 cents worth in.
Well, the other line's ringing, so I'm going to let Shane vet them. Yeah, we'll see what they got to say. Hey, thanks for the call. All right, Shane, we got a caller waiting on the line, so if you'll entertain them, I will be right back in only 30 seconds. So it's going to be a short break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Five minutes to the top of the hour. It's Monday, September 30th, 2019. 30 degrees outside. We got a caller waiting on the line. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Hi, is that me again?
That's you.
Hey, my question is, so if Trump gets impeached by one of the
by the House,
then what's the likelihood that the Senate would follow? Or would it be like a Bill Clinton where, okay, yeah, we impeached him, but not really?
Well, I think it'd be zero with what we know currently,
Right.
unless something comes up that we're not aware of that comes up in the trial in the House. I don't
No,
see
not
it.
the
I
House,
don't
the
see
trials
any.
in the
I don't
Senate.
see any way they could that the Senate would vote to throw him out of office.
Yeah, but if there's no evidence, why would the House vote to throw him out of office?
Well, they may not. I mean, they could take a vote and vote it down.
They voted 4 times and couldn't pass a resolution to impeach him already.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it may or may not happen. I mean, it's a lot of they're trying to get anything. They should be concentrating on the NAFTA .2, get that thing done, but they don't want to give Trump another win. So
USMCA, immigration, gun laws. The budget's
any number
coming
of
up,
those
by the way.
things would give Trump a victory, and they just are tired of. Because every time he has a victory or every time they go after him for anything, he seems to become more of a victim and have more support. And, that's the issue, I guess.
And the big thing right now is that this is the end of your fiscal year of the U.S. government.
Right.
And there's no continuing resolution that's been passed.
Right.
To fund the country. So
they got October 15th, is it?
Yeah.
I think.
They're not even doing people's business.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I just worry because I hear impeach on the news, and I've heard now that the American people, when you take a poll, are more in favor of impeaching him. And then I saw one reporter.
No.
66%.
66% of the people in the U.S. are opposed to impeachment.
Okay.
Well, that was up until yesterday, Shane.
Oh, is there a new poll now?
Yeah, more people are in favor of impeachment than not.
Is it a majority or?
It's a majority.
But when they interview the college kids and say, "Would you impeach Trump?" and they all said, "Yeah," but when they asked why, they didn't know. They didn't have an answer.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
For
what? Yeah, for what? We just know we want him gone. We don't know why.
Yeah. So. Anyway,
it's silly season, as Shane calls it. That's for sure. Hey, thanks for the call. Yeah, thanks very much. From our text line 478-8298, change the rules. Didn't Congress change the rules to get Gorsuch through? Yeah, they did. They took away the 60 vote majority and made it a 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
And
which, by the way, is a Democratic rule.
Well, yeah. Party before country. If people can't see what's wrong with asking a foreign country to help on political opponents, and then they can't complain when the next Democrat president does the same thing. A republic if you can keep it.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, Trump didn't pay, billions of dollars to some off-the-wall company to dig up dirt on Biden, I guess. Biden did it all by himself. He's more than half. And, of course, the kid getting the big bucks and $50,000 a month to be on a board in a category he knows nothing about or has no experience in, that has to tell you something. Now, whether it's legal or illegal or whatever, it's certainly is suspicious.
Yeah, quid pro quo Joe. I mean, we see the video. You've seen it. So.
Oh, yeah.
While he was vice president. Oh, my goodness.
Nobody paid any attention to the vice president,
Yeah, but what about the letter last year sent by the 3 Democratic senators asking Ukraine for any information about, their involvement in the U.S. elections or the Trump family involved through Ukraine in the
Yeah.
I don't get it, Tom. This is way over the top for me.
There you go. All right. We've got to take a break. And we got Montana News, we got Fox News, we got everybody here at the top of the hour. So by all means, stay tuned. Shane, we got a caller on the line. So if you want to chat with them, we'll be right back following all of those great things. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. The final hour of the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Monday, September 30th, 2019, 30 degrees outside. Shane Taubman, he's half man, he's half amazing, and he is in Vancouver, British Columbia, my co-host for nearly 10 years on the air. And thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you being here every morning.
My pleasure.
Without pay.
Well, you are the great Eagle Man and the morning mayor, so we got to get the job done.
Got to get the job done. All right. Well, in our last hour, we were talking a little bit about, we're talking about Trump and the conspiracies and everything, but my trip. But I got to tell you the other last thing about the trip, and then we'll leave that alone because, well, as I told you, making the trip, they gave me a car without a GPS, and I had these printed out directions, but I didn't have any printed out directions on how to get back to the airport in Dallas. So from the hotel. So what did I do, Shane? I went out and bought a Garmin.
Oh, you did?
I bought a Garmin, yeah.
Wow. There you go.
All right, so I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to head to Dallas, and I got my Garmin here. So I took it out of the box, and it's all ready to go. And I plug it in the cigarette lighter, and you know how you and I have the same phone. I think we got the Galaxy 5,
right?
That Alexander Graham Bell used, and. Sometimes when you get out in bright sun, you can't see the face of the.
You can't see the screen.
Yeah, you can't see the screen. So I'm getting this with the Garmin. I see it open up and everything, and I'm going, oh man, this is going to not be good. So anyway, I'm trying to angle the screen. I'm looking at it and everything, and I think I see United States, and so I punch United States and. The thing suddenly springs bright as day in Argentina, which Spanish, I guess. So I'm going, God. So I'm looking around, I'm looking through everything. How do you change the language on this? So I can't find language. So I get on my phone and I go to Garmin.com. And go to support, and they say, what's your serial number and what's your model number? And I got no clue because they're in the bag in the back, and I'm not getting out of this 6-foot-tall truck to put my, to do this. So I'm sitting there, and I'm going, what the heck is going on here? So what do you do when you don't know how to do something, Shane? What do you do?
I don't know. Ask somebody.
Well, no. You go to YouTube.
Right.
I go to YouTube, and in about 30 seconds, they tell me how to reset the whole system on this Garmin that I got. And I finally get the thing in English.
Oh, great.
and program in the address of the car lot, the thrifty car lot, and I'm ready to go. So anyway, I get into Dallas, and everything is going smoothly until I get to this keep left, turn right. What? On the freeway. Keep in the left lane, turn right. I'm going, what? So I missed that turn. So when you miss a turn, it recalculates. And so it says, okay, get off on this exit, go down to Ash Street and turn left. Okay. So I get off the exit, I go down to Ash Street. What's going on down at Ash Street in Dallas, Texas? The Texas State Fair.
Oh.
Traffic is a friggin' nightmare there.
Oh,
So anyway, I finally get back up, and I finally figure out how to go left and turn right. But anyway, it was a mess.
Didn't they have a massive flooding down there a couple of weeks ago from that hurricane?
Not in Dallas. They had it in Houston, but not in Dallas.
Oh, wasn't it Dallas?
Dallas is. So, all right.
Sorry, wrong city.
All right, we've had a caller patiently waiting while I pontificate there. So, caller, you on the air? What's up?
Country boys should stay out of the big cities.
I tell you couldn't give me a big city as a gift, Pete.
I think on this whole Ukrainian thing, I think that the Dems think this is a silver bullet. They're going to get rid of Trump and Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Pete. This is all a setup because of the IG's report on the FISA warrants and everything. They got to accuse the Republicans of what they're guilty of. It's projecting. They know it's coming, so they're trying to hoard the news cycle and suck all the air out of the room because at some point that's going to come out and it's not going to be good. So
yeah.
Well, it's out. It just ain't in the mainstream media because they. You listen to them at the beginning, and it was he or she concerning the whistleblower, he or she, and now it's definitely he, like they know. But there's an interesting little thing here that there was a CIA agent assigned to the White House. The transcript of the phone call comes out on August 12th, and this CIA agent assigned to the White House resigns the position on the 15th. And that agent's name is Sue Gordon, which, unless it's a Johnny Cash deal, I think Sue is female.
Yeah.
If I can even say that anymore. I might have just broke some kind of law.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You misused a pronoun and appropriated a culture. So
I don't know, because you may have illegally disclosed a whistleblower. That should go. This should go viral.
Yeah, well, it's just a little known fact that's out there. If you dig deep enough, you find all kinds of weird crap.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing is, with this deal with Biden, Biden's not the vice president anymore. He's just the citizen.
Yeah.
Okay. Trump's job is to enforce the law. We have a treaty with the Ukraine to aid each other in investigations like this. And
Signed
I think
by Clinton.
Right. And I think that the people have to know. They have the right to know if Joe Biden's a grifter. We should know about it before the election. So I don't see anything wrong with what Trump did. Mm-hmm. And as far as Biden goes, like you said, he admitted it. In front of at the CFR, in front of all kinds of people, and on video.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, give me a break. I don't know what these people are thinking. If you listen I've listened to Schiff's deal where he, kind of made up the little parody,
right? Yeah.
Which wasn't funny.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he thought it was funny. I mean, you got a weird sense of humor anyway.
Yeah. Well, he has no sense of humor. That's his problem.
Yeah. That's right. He's still involved in hairspray.
People who try to do humor when they have no sense of humor shouldn't do it.
That's right. Especially on TV.
Yeah. Well, especially national TV, too, yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Well, international TV.
Well, that's probably true, too, yeah.
And if you could go clear back into the 90s with Russia and Ukraine and these people, Larry Summers and these guys making all kinds of money off getting into the Russian oil.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the whole thing is a mess, and it's just not starting now, believe me. It went on. They rigged the election in the Ukraine, with outside money.
Yeah.
So, and then of course everything
well,
started.
Remember 4 or 5 years ago when this all started, I said, well, you can't buy Trump. He's already rich. There's no reason for him to do this, so he's doing it for his country. He has no reason to lie, so he's just going to tell the truth. And on top of all that, people wanted a change, and so they got one. And now the problem that you have is everyone's corrupt. They're all corrupt. Doesn't matter who it is. It's been proven. Democrats, Republicans, and this and that. And this guy isn't. You can't corrupt him. He isn't corrupt. And they are scared to death because if this all starts coming out in a wave, not in dribble drips,
I think, Shane, that he wants it to come out and dribble.
Of course,
dribble drips because I think that this is Trump's vengeance.
Yeah,
he's going to make you sweat right till the day they put you in the irons.
Yeah. Well, I personally think this is him controlling the whole situation, setting it up. I don't know. There's a great movie called Ms. Sloan. I don't know if it's not a big movie, but where she's a lobbyist and she sets up everybody through the whole movie. To the end, she brings the whole place down.
That's what they do. And like Trump said himself, he said, look, he said, I know there's other people listening in to this phone call. What do you think? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break.
Well, let me
ask.
Wait. There was a rumor when the Senate was going to vote for impeachment on Clinton, and he called every single senator in the U.S. This was the rumor, and say, "You impeach me, and we're all going down because I have all the dirt I need on everybody, and I'm going to sing like a canary." And now you know that wasn't a rumor. He actually did that, and that's why they didn't impeach him, because everybody's in this. You know, Pete.
Yeah, they're all in
it's
it.
just horrific.
Well,
that was Shane. That was the 115 FBI files that Summers stuck in his underwear and his socks and everything smuggled out.
Yeah.
That's the dirt. That's where the dirt was.
Scooter Libby.
Yeah.
Scooted right out of the.
No, it was Clinton's lawyer. What was
Well,
his name?
let me, Pete.
Anyway.
You be. I'll be the president, and Pete, you be a foreign leader, and I am going to call you. Hi, Pete.
How you doing?
If you have the right to remain silent. If you give up the right to remain silent, anything you say and do can be used against both of us. There's no attorney to help you, and one will not be appointed for you. With these rights in mind, do you still want to talk to me?
Are you both of us?
Very good, man. That was excellent.
I don't want to talk to you.
Okay, thanks for the call. We're going to war.
Don't call me.
Yeah. Don't call me. I'll call you.
That's right. Dude, you guys have a great day.
All
man.
right, see you later, Pete. Thanks for the call. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Nineteen minutes after the hour, this is KMMS, AM 1450, KMMS in Bozeman, 1340 KPRK in Livingston, online, KMMSAM.com. Don't forget, all of our shows are recorded, and you can listen to them anytime you want. I haven't checked where we are, Shane. We're at 1,601 downloads, 1,601. 1,601 downloads on our shows, 237 shows, so you are never out of shows, so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere, doing anything, or whatever it is you're doing. So let's see. Let's go back to our text line here because we're getting behind on that. From our text line, 478-8298, I think Biden's China trip with his son is worse, and Trump said to relay the information to the Attorney General. Didn't Obama ask Ukraine to find stuff on Trump? And Shane is right. Our corrupt Congress, Feinstein in China, Pelosi's husband in China, Schumer, and Soros. What do you think?
Well, Schumer said it well last year. You go after the, your intelligence, and they'll get you 6 ways to Sunday. So that's on tape too.
Yeah. Ask Biden about Larry Summer and how he got to be CPAP. There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
That'll work. Yeah, let's check on that one. Oh, let's see. If Obama asked a foreign country to dig up dirt on a political opponent, you'd be losing your mind, and rightly so. Republicans are showing they have lost principles to support Trump. Sad. Trump and Julie.
Remember, Obama funded the opposition to Netanyahu's election.
Yeah.
And that was okay. No,
Yeah, nobody cared there. Yeah.
Nobody cared.
Trump and Giuliani are spreading conspiracy lies easily debunked in 2 minutes of research, yet Trump cult believes lies. Do they still sell Garmin GPS? Why didn't you use your phone? Well, I would have used my phone, except that the internet there was very sparse and almost non-existent. So I was, in fact, when I went after YouTube, I wasn't sure if I was going to get YouTube or not. So thankfully I did. But let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Calling on the Morning Soapbox. What's going on?
Good morning. This is Jerry.
Hey,
How
Jerry,
are you?
how's it going?
Welcome back, Tom and
Thank
Shane.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
A quick comment for you, Tom. You should have had Babel. This way you could have,
No, I could have read the foreign language. Yeah. What was I thinking?
Yeah, you're going to figure out how to get from Argentina to the Dallas airport.
That's right.
A quick comment. If I'm not mistaken, Schiff had this complaint way back in August.
Yeah.
And doesn't that sound like the old Feinstein thing with Kavanaugh? She had that complaint for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. And if you read the complaint, I don't think this CIA operative or whoever this is wrote this thing. I think it was written by somebody else because it has a lot of legal references to it, and it reads very formal.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it ironic that they changed the form?
Yeah.
Very soon.
Well, the thing I went to look at it. Let me just say this, Jerry. I went to look at it because that's what I do, right? So I think it was page 4. There was a footnote on page 4 that was 6 pages long. I mean, the complaint was 5 pages, but one footnote was 6 pages long.
Yeah. I don't. And the reason he made, they're all upset about the fact that he transferred the phone call to a secure server. Well, why not? People are leaking things out of the White House and out of the intel community. There's still a lot of rogue elements in that intel community.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, that do not like Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the reasons why he may have put it on a server. But he did release the transcript, and if you read the transcript, he never mentioned Biden's name. He just said, we've got to investigate some wrongdoings. He never mentions Biden's name at all. And isn't there something called opposition research?
Yeah, sure.
So it's as far as I'm concerned, it's fair play. He's
Ray that runs the FBI now. He's been before Congress 12 times since he's been appointed, and has not reported on any procedural changes or protocol changes he's made at the FBI about any of this. And I'm going like, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And also one more thing, the silence of the Republicans on this issue. They should be screaming bloody murder and asking for investigations themselves, to expose the corruption of the Democrats. But you don't hear a peep out of it.
It's a spineless party, man. It just really is.
It's a shame.
It really is. It is. I mean, Trump's the only one. Can you imagine if every Republican spoke up like Trump is?
Oh, well, then you would get to the bottom of things. But
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean,
they refuse to. It's really a shame.
Well, the minority members certainly have a right to subpoena anybody.
Absolutely.
And they can bring them into these committees to testify, but they're not doing it.
There are a few that are speaking out, but they're not loud enough. And now you just heard it on the news, the latest news, that they want to keep people who are speaking out on this, keeping them from being guests on some of these news shows.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The media, believe me, the media is running the Democrat Party, not vice versa. That's who's doing it. Well, thanks, guys.
Okay. Hey, thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call, Jerry.
All right. Let's take another call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you on the air. What's up?
Hey, guys. Kevin.
Kevin.
Hey, you had a texter call in and say we'd be screaming from the rooftops if the Obama administration did this. Well, they did. It's
Yeah.
still dossier. It's the whole Russian thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were pretty well screaming a lot. Yeah.
I mean, people are. It's so funny. Talking to a couple people this weekend who aren't, don't listen to talk radio or aren't Democrats, and I don't know if they listen to NPR or what they get their news from, but the whole time they were. One guy was like, "Well, yeah, but what about Trump? Trump said 7 times that he was going to." He was basically saying what Peter Schiff had said. Remember when Peter Schiff and the committee came out and made all those lies, and at the end he came back later and said, "Well, I was lying, but I was just saying what we all knew was going on in his mind," or however he interpreted it. It wasn't what he was reading from the transcript. But so the news is reporting that, and my friend was like, "Yeah, what about when he said 7 times that he was going to go after him and he needed to? He was acting like a mafia boss." And I was like, "Dude, you just heard the entire fake news." But that's what they hear on the radio.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing I find fascinating, Kevin, what I find fascinating, the Molnar report documented that Obama met with Clapper, Brennan, and Comey in 2014 about the Russians interfering with the 2016 election and did nothing.
Right.
That's documented. Yeah, but it's documented.
I know, but they don't hear that. They hear from NPR, and if they read the New York Times, or if they watch CNN, they hear just obviously the spin that the media has become. It's the propaganda for the left, and that's why they're saying nothing about Biden, and all the corruption. I mean, imagine if Donald Trump Jr. got $1.5 billion after he flew over to China with his dad. I mean,
yeah.
Who writes this
that's
stuff?
all you would hear about every single day on every newscast, on every senator, where Republican senator would have a microphone in front of their face about this. And you're right. You're saying the senators are weak. No, they're part of the swamp. That's the problem. And Mitch McConnell, who's the leader, is the biggest swamper of all of them. And so he's not going to bring anything up. He could march people into the Senate or Republicans on the House, McCarthy. And they're not doing anything because they don't like Trump. They don't like Trump disrupting everything. They want the Democrat and Republican Party to go to pretend to be opposition and have the power to go back and forth so they can sit there and steal all the money and stay elected. And they don't like Trump.
Yeah.
Well, McConnell's made a deal with Trump. I'll approve as many judges as you want. Just don't say anything about the Republicans.
Yeah. But the average person out there who's a Democrat, doesn't listen to talk radio, has a completely different understanding of this situation, and they don't know the truth, unfortunately.
That's it. Hey, thanks, Kevin. All right, thanks for the call. All right, we got to take a break. We've got a caller on the line chain, so if you can talk to them, I will be right back with more. We got Fox News, Montana State News, and the weekday weather, I should say, with what's her name, Brooke Foster. Yeah, she's cool. Anderson Windows as well. So stay tuned. We still got a full half hour to go, and I got to talk about my effect on climate change on my trip. So we'll be back, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll catch up on the phone lines as well. So we'll be right back. 25 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Monday, September 30th, 2019. 31 degrees outside. It's just been sitting there all morning long, Shane, with a high of 37 today, I think. I don't know if we're going to make that or not. I don't see any sunshine out there at all through Michelle Wolf's window over at the Moose. So I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on over there. But the other thing I wanted to tell you, Shane, about the trip, and then we'll get to the text line here in a minute. As you know, I started telling you that I flew out of Bozeman to go to Dallas. You fly to Seattle, so I fly from Seattle to Dallas, and then on the return trip, you leave Dallas, you fly to Atlanta. And then you fly to Salt Lake, and then you fly to Bozeman. And on the trip from Atlanta to Salt Lake, they've got the movies on the back of the seats. You got the TV thing, and and I watched John Wick 3 on the way back. But
great movie,
but they also show you the stuff about what's going on outside the airplane. And we're in 142 mile an hour headwind, and it's 42 below zero outside at 30,000 feet. So we're in this headwind. But the thing that I was thinking about as we were flying here, I created a carbon footprint that will take decades to erase with this trip. I flew coast to coast, except Atlanta's almost to the coast. South Carolina gets in the way. But I'm all the way over to Seattle, which is about 10 minutes from you, and then all the way down to the middle of the country, and then back over to the East Coast, and then back to the middle of the country and back again. So, it's about a 3,000-4,000 mile trip, I guess. And of course, renting the gas guzzling SUV also helped.
You spent more time flying there than you spent there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Let's go back to the text line, 478-8298. Shane is embarrassing himself. He sees Trump as perfect. Can't imagine why Trump would lie despite 12,000 documented Trump lies. Trump lied about where his father was born. He can't help but lie. So there you
are.
Well,
how do you respond to that?
I don't know.
Did they keep a running tab of Obama's lies? I think there's a few there.
Yeah. You can look them up online.
Yeah.
Shane is right. See?
Well, I got to hear the rest of this.
Opposing views. Obama messed with Israel's election, and that was bad, so why is rigging your own election not bad? Your caller is ignorant. Trump definitely mentioned Biden, and why after 5 years is Trump suddenly concerned? Polls. I don't think Trump pays any attention to the polls.
No. I could be wrong. I like to think that I'm not, but I see Trump winning. I see them taking back the House because of this, and maybe even the Senate with a majority. And I really believe that the Democrats are setting up all these sanctuary cities because they're going to deny the 2020 election and then push the sanctuary cities to secede from the Union because that's the only place they'll be left.
From our text line, 478-8298, your caller is spreading fake conspiracy crap. Biden Jr. did not come back from China with $1.5 billion, easily debunked, but Trumpers want to believe lies about Trump instead of doing research. Biden Jr. did make money by being his son, but Ivanka got trademark approval in China the day after meeting with Xi. Where is the outrage over that? Why would there be an outrage for her getting approval to sell her stuff in China?
Well, I don't know, because she closed that company down, number one, because of the media. But number two, he did. It's documented, $1.5 billion.
I was going to say, that's pretty much, that's pretty much,
yeah.
It is intellectual dishonesty of Trump and his supporters who ignore his behavior that caused many of us conservatives out of the GOP. So dishonest and no morality. Well, if you want one of the 10 students, wow. Why didn't you take a direct flight to Dallas? Because of the times available to me that I had to be at certain places on the day after. So I had to, I could have flown maybe American, or I know there are some direct flights to Dallas.
Well, the amazing thing is it probably was $780 or whatever for you to take that trip. But
it was more expensive. That's one thing.
15 years ago, in the golden age of airline traffic or flying, if you traveled that far, that distance, it would have cost you like $10,000.
Right. Yeah. Well, somebody asked, why didn't you take Uber? Because from Dallas to Kilgore, it's a 400-mile round trip. I don't think I want to take Uber there, but let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Calling you on the air. What's going on?
Tom and Shane, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Oh.
A retired pilot.
Yeah.
I can tell you what because you didn't buy the most expensive ticket.
No, I didn't.
You got still empty seats. That's why you got routed all over the country.
That's right. Yep, you're right.
I've had the same experience.
Yeah.
So you didn't create a carbon footprint. The airlines have done it.
Well, that's true. I just contributed my part by being on the plane.
Yeah. You were what?
I was an unwitting conspirator.
Yeah.
You need to be investigated, Tom. Even if you are mayor.
I do.
Even if you are mayor, you got to be investigated.
I'm disappointed that I'm not being investigated by someone. All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
You bet.
Appreciate the input. All right, Shane, we got a caller waiting. If you could talk to them, I'll be right back in 1 minute. Stay tuned. $16 minutes for the top of the hour from our text line 478-8298. Tom, in order to resolve your carbon sins, you either need to plant 1,000 trees or buy a $13 million oceanfront home like Obama to be forgiven. So there I am, Shane. And let's see, also from our text line, 478-8298. Nice to hear your voices. Went through withdrawal for 5 days. No more days off without permission. So, all right. Well, we don't have any more days off planned. So, but we have callers on the air. So let's go there. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, Sub-Block Commandante Block Commander Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
And, hey, haven't heard from you guys for a while.
I know.
Haven't been checking in.
You got to call in more often, man. Come on.
Well,
do your part to make radio great again.
I always have a lot of things to say.
I know you do.
I'm going to not talk about the impeachment stuff. I'm going to wait for all these hearings this week.
Right. Yeah. See what's going on.
I'm going to let for spin and facts come out.
Yeah.
But what I do want to talk about, 3 quick things, and I'll tell you a joke.
All right.
That I saw that the wall's starting to get built down in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess in Mexico's sending us a bunch of cash for that, aren't they? Did I miss something there?
I'm sorry, cash from where?
Mexico.
Mexico.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think, and this is semantics, Jeff, you know me. Trump never said Mexico was going to pay for a physical wall, but they are paying for a military wall at their southern border, which has stopped the caravans and everything else from coming up here. So theoretically, in the bizarro world, yeah, they're paying for it.
Oh, a very bizarre world.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. You know,
Trump's
I mean,
bizarre. Well, I know. And then President Trump promised he was going to replace Obamacare with a new health plan that would cover everybody. It would be better and it'd be cheaper. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite part of that plan?
Well, my favorite part of the plan is that you have both. You've got government health care for those folks that are, you know, that need a safety net, and I think for the people who work, I think there should be competition for the best health care plan available. You just need to look at the VA. Do you want the VA running your health care? I don't think so.
Well, where can I get a copy of Trump's plan?
It's as far as I know, the Republican plan is online. I'm not sure about the Trump plan, but the Republican plan has been online.
And that covers everybody, and it's cheaper?
Can't tell you that because I don't think you can guarantee that it covers any plan is going to cover everybody, and it can't guarantee every plan is going to be cheaper. There's no way to do that.
Lie.
Well, it is a lie, yeah, but
and then our
well, it's a prediction that may or may not happen. I would call it a lie, but I would say that I don't think one plan fits all. Medicare doesn't cover everything.
Yeah, number one, the single payer is gone, which is really important. I think Americans don't maybe appreciate that yet. And Senator McCain voted down the Republican plan, as we all know, at 3:00 in the morning. And thirdly, the basic compromise the Republicans have is to allow insurance to be sold across state lines, so there's competition. That's the premise of their plan.
Yeah, because I can buy my supplemental health insurance across state lines. I can buy house insurance, car insurance. I can buy all those across state lines. Why can't I buy medical insurance across state lines?
Well,
yeah, we had a gal on a year ago that said you can. She has a health plan that she pays like $89 a month for. I can't remember the name of the plan, but she found a plan. That
it was a Christian something or other, I think.
Yeah,
it was a Christian plan.
And one of the last times I talked to you, it was shortly after the massive tax giveaway to the rich.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to stimulate so much money, and our economy was going to grow. And Shane, you said we'd be like 4, 5, 6%. Tom, you said the money would be pouring in, and Trump promised that in 2 years he was going to end the national debt, the national deficit. How's that plan going?
Not well, because the Republicans are spending money like it's water.
What is our GDP right now? I'm thinking I'm going to make sure I correct me when I said the last quarter was 2%.
Well, I think it's over. It's on line for being between 3 and 3.5% by the end of the year for the year.
How about what's really happening though? This last quarter, it was 2%, right?
2.8, I believe.
Well, the thing,
2, and we have Republicans saying this is the best economy ever the world's ever seen. I'll chalk that up lie. And how about the deficit?
But you're making a math error. You're making a math error.
What's the total deficit going to be? Because Obama, his last term, it was $500 billion, so it's definitely got to be lower than that.
And what was the GDP of that $500 billion?
I am going to say it's somewhere in between 2 and 3%, but I don't know.
But what was the dollar amount, though?
$500 billion
of the GDP, though. What was the dollar amount of the GDP at the time?
Oh hell, I think you kind of got me there. It's in
I'm not trying to get you, Jeff. The point I'm making is that 2% of 22 trillion GDP is more than 2% of 20 trillion, or 18 or whatever it was. I mean, if you're going to use percentages, then in many cases, that's going to cloud the issue. It needs to be dollars and cents. In other words,
the GDP didn't double in 3 years. Let's put it.
No, it didn't. No, and
so
and
it's $500 billion for Obama, and so Trump should be less than that because everything's going to get better, right?
Well, it is better.
What's it going? I think the CBO said it's $1 trillion a year from here to eternity. What happened to all that money that was going to be pouring in from the tax cuts, and we were all going to be like spending like crazy people?
Yeah. Well,
let's call that a lie too.
Well,
ready for my joke?
Yeah.
I don't want to take up all
Okay,
your time.
real quick.
All right.
So got that down. Wall money, lie. Health plan, lie. Deficit, lie. But anyway, hey, would you know why Kentucky does not have a professional football team?
I have no idea.
College football is too popular. I don't know.
Well, I've heard from many people that I've talked to, even if it's hearsay, if Kentucky got a professional football team, Texas would want one too. Good eye.
There you go. That's pretty funny. All right. Good job. Let's take one more phone call, then we got to take a break. Caller, you on the air. Thanks for waiting. What's up?
Hi, Tom. It's Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Listening to a Mark Levin show last night, interviewing Peter Schweitzer, and he said the $1.5 billion that Trump's son got from China was to be a money manager to buy up companies in this country, particularly military information. And the one group in Michigan that had an anti-vibration, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was military secret. And Chinese are buying up our companies to get the secrets so that they can beat us like they're intending to beat us. And it's just very insidious because they're using Trump or Biden as a cover-up or a front page, so to speak, for buying these companies in the Chinese name.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Shane can look this up because it sounded pretty plausible to me, and it's the most dangerous thing that when they get you from the inside, it's very dangerous for the country.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. I got to take a break. Thanks very much. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. All right. Got the Rush update, and, well, of course, you want to hear about Spectrum, right? So, hey, here's Rush. 4 minutes for the top of the hour. We got a caller waiting on the line. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up? Hello. You need to turn your radio down.
He wanted everybody to know that we should remember that L'Oreal Corporation, back in 1994, sold guidance missile systems to China.
China, yeah.
Which they reverse engineered to create their own guidance or missile defense systems. So
right,
there you go. Nobody said anything about that. He was saying, "Wow."
Well, Jeff mentioned the CBO, and if we took from the Trump election 2016. If you go back to 2006, do you believe the CBO predicted the Lehman Brothers would crash, that General Motors would go down, the stock market would go to 6,900, and I've just never put a stock in 10-year predictions from these guys, because nothing is going to stay the same. If everything stayed the same, yes. The Bush Part D prescription was supposed to be 50, 60 billion or something like that. It was double that or more. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't predict, stuff like that. And I'm not picking on Jeff. I'm just mentioning that if you want to bring up things like the CBO and their 10-year predictions, that holds very little weight as to whether or not it'll actually really happen or not. So
exactly.
So. Let's see. Our debt under Trump has exceeded GDP, or debt under Obama exceeded GDP as well. So
exactly.
Yeah. Google, why don't insurance companies sell across state lines? Networks. Well, networks can work across state lines. AARP does it, for supplemental insurance. Humana does it. Come on.
Blue Cross Blue
Shield.
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
Search YouTube. Trump repeatedly said Mexico will pay for a big, beautiful, solid wall. Yes, they will. And who cares? If you have to lie to prop up your president, maybe you're in the swamp. So. Let's see. I think that Barr and Durham and the IG will bring the 2016 election gang to their knees. Impeachment is all about getting ahead of that.
Agreed.
Yeah. The Democrat Party needs to remember what Roseanne said. Do you want Pence as president? Then shut up. I was going to say, do you really want Pence? I'm not sure that many people are going to go along with that. All right, Shane, that wraps it up for us, man. Tell everybody goodbye.
Goodbye, and thank you. We look forward to speaking with you in the AM. Everyone be happy, be safe, and God bless.
All right. All right, that does it for Shane and I. Hey, thanks, everybody. It's great to be back. Thanks for all the text messages and everything. Sorry I didn't get to everybody on here, but, boy, there's just too many sometimes. So, all right, we will be back. Tomorrow is Jeff Krause Day, so if you got anything about the city, I know somebody texted me about the roads and whatever, so we can beat up on Jeff tomorrow. And coming up on Thursday, God Squad will be back in the house, as will Mike McCormick. So we got a full week. We'll see everybody tomorrow at 6 a.m.